Throughout human history, our ancestors travelled all across the world in an attempt to make any new location into their new home. This usually left coastlines and shores of rivers to have been the primary focus for developing towns and nations, as the use of water and sustainable food supplies were crucial for developing people. This has left an incredible mystery for researchers in the modern day, however, as new archaeological finds are proving a number of strange insights into the deserts of our world that had previously thought to have been abandoned or completely uninhabitable for generations. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 5 incredible discoveries made beneath the deserts of our world. Namib Desert Fairy Circles. Located in the Namib Desert, down near the northwestern Cape province of South Africa, there appears to be a countless number of peculiar formations in the sand that have left researchers scrambling to try to find a reasonable explanation as to the cause of the strange phenomena that appears almost artificial in nature. First recorded back in the 1920s, researchers began to notice that all throughout the Namib Desert were arid grass formation circles that were evenly scattered across the entire land. These arid grass formations would shortly thereafter be referred to as fairy circles due to the oral myths of the Himba people indigenous to the region that believed the strange spots of land where grass refused to grow was caused by their gods of whom stepped foot on the land, and the circles are evidence of their footprints. The true cause for the formation of the circles has been at the centre of debates and controversy for roughly over a century, with researchers from all different backgrounds positing their own theories as to the formation of the fairy circles, while also working to discredit the work of others given the strange nature of the circles. The first widely discussed theory surrounded the native species of termites after a researcher concluded that the circles were caused by termite nests inside the region digging small caverns to serve as miniature aquifers that would kill any grass above them. This theory was then disproven after the measuring of the circles showed that their formation was equidistant of each other, a behaviour that the termites and newly formed termite nests would not have displayed over such vast distances. The second widely supported theory came as recent as 2013, when researchers found evidence that the fairy circles could be caused by a natural plant competition, as they found correlating evidence that fairy circles were centered at areas with poor soil nutrition and less precipitation. However, this find would not explain the perfect circle designs that came about from these competitive natures. Although some have argued an explanation that fits both answers, others have noticed other strange causes of the arid formations and led to theories widely debated and deemed too controversial to support. Some researchers claim that the fairy circles have been measured to have heightened traces of radioactivity, but that their artificial formation might be evidence of deliberate radiation of some kind. Others have claimed that the fairy circles are evidence of far more supernatural origins and give credence to the native Bushmen in the region as to their rightful ownership of the land. To this day, no definitive answer has been accepted and no correlating evidence has been proven to be the causation of the fairy circles whatsoever. Arizona Desert Purple Spheres. Back on the 27th of January in 2013, there were a number of strange reports made to an ABC affiliate news station known as KGUN9 that described thousands of small purple spheres out in the middle of the Vail Desert in the middle of the state of Arizona, southeast of Tucson. These purple spheres were described by a reporter as being similar to that of gooey marbles that would ooze out liquid substance when squeezed. Shortly after the news station described the strange purple spheres and sent pictures out to the public, they soon thereafter received thousands of phone calls from fans of the news station, with the general consensus being that these purple spheres are, in fact, water-absorbing orbs that are used as children's toys that balloon up when water strikes them. They are described as being polymer pearls that are created out of super-absorbent polymers that can only be used to hydrate plants or prevent leaks of any kind. Interestingly enough, it appears that whoever had placed these absorbent polymers had placed several thousand bags worth of the spheres all throughout different patches of the desert, of which was an incredibly peculiar discovery given the fact that whoever placed the spheres had to have done it at least weeks prior to when they were discovered. Though some might argue that it could have been a prank from a social media personality, researchers found that the purple spheres were not discovered until the 27th of January, the following morning after a large rain for the region. This would mean that whoever placed the absorbent spheres merely left them dehydrated until the next rain would take place. This has left many to assume that it is more than possible that the spheres are being used to store water for the native flora in the region, and that whoever had placed the purple spheres could have done so in an attempt to sustain any native plant life in the region that otherwise would not survive during the dry desert seasons. The identity of the individual responsible is still unknown, and their motives can only be suspected to this day. The Marfa Lights. Back in 1883, a young cowboy named Robert Reed Ellison claimed to have seen strange lights hovering and moving around as he was driving cattle through the Paciano Pass through the region of Marfa, Texas. Curious as to what the cause of the lights could have been, he asked other passers-by if the lights were caused by the fire pits of Native Americans throughout the region, to which local residents had claimed that for as long as they had known, there have been strange, unexplainable lights in the region. In the modern day, the phenomena still continues and has come to be known as the Marfa Lights, which can still be seen almost daily when passing through the Marfa, Texas region across Route 67. According to Dr. Judith Kruska, of whom has published several books on the Marfa Lights phenomena, they described that their favourite place to view the Marfa Lights is at a widened shoulder on Highway 90, where the lights are most often reported as distant spots of brightness, distinguishable from ranch lights and automobile headlights on Highway 67. Although many researchers have tried to discredit the Marfa Lights as a phenomena of any significance, claiming that the lights are nothing more than atmospheric reflections of automobile headlights and campfires, tests have found that the otherwise intelligent behaviour of the lights is something to be noted. Reports have described the lights as remaining stationary as they pulse on and off, darting across the desert at incredible speeds, changing their intensity from being very dim to an almost blinding brilliance, performing splits and mergers, taking on strange colours including yellow to orange, green, blue and dark red, and have demonstrated forms of spatial awareness as they float over vegetation but below background mesas. The cause for these strange lights are still unknown in the modern day, but can still be seen every night when passing through the region. Chile's Atacama desert whale remains. One of the most mysterious discoveries made beneath the deserts of our world seems to centre around a mass of whale graveyard out in the middle of Chile's Atacama desert that sparked one of the biggest archaeological studies in the region for the past several years. It had been widely debated whether or not the desert was home to whale fossils, as previous reports claimed to have seen large whale bones jutting out the side of cliffs, but researchers were unable to better study the region given the nearly impossible obstacles, both environmental and political, preventing quality research. It was not until a cut was made to widen the Pan-American Highway in the region that researchers from the United States and Chile were able to get permission for 2 weeks to study the region before the road would be constructed over their archaeological sites. It was within these 2 weeks and countless man-hours of work that the researchers made strange discoveries of not just thousands of perfectly preserved full whale skeletons, but of skeletons of many different marine species that could be more than 5 million years old. Oddly enough, it appeared that all of the marine animals died in the exact same way, leaving their skeletons perfectly preserved. Although many researchers originally assumed that they had all been a part of the same extinction level event, evidence found that the species were made up of 4 different extinction events across several thousands of years. On top of these discoveries, researchers found impossible to explain evolved forms of life, including walrus whales, dolphins that had evolved walrus-like faces, and bizarre aquatic sloths that were previously unknown and had inhabited that region when it had all been submerged in water. The working consensus for the researchers in the modern day seems to be that the extinction level events were caused by massive algal blooms in the waters in that region, as every marine animal was found upside down in the same way. This would lead to the perfectly preserved nature of their skeletons, as well as the sudden mass death of all the marine animals in the region at approximately the same time across several thousand years. But what do you all think of these incredible discoveries that have been made within the deserts of our world? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.